Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's TheGameconomist, and today we're fighting Arch-Tempered Kulve Taroth once again. We are doing another live stream. It's April 23rd. Thank you very much for joining me. Alright, so on screen you can see the online session ID. You probably want to do a screenshot of that real fast, or you can go into my Discord server where I always post the session ID, or you can look in the description of the video where I usually post the session ID. Oh, my controller is stuck. Let's get it unstuck. I have this like makeshift desk going. Come on. I have like 500 million wires. You guys don't know what this is like. I have like 4 wires going into my laptop right now. Alright, there we go. So, is Arch-Tempered Kulve Taroth the best waifu? That's the question. I think there's some competition. I think that, you know, you have Lunastra. She's definitely some tough competition, right? You've got to at least consider Lunastra. Let's go ahead and change our weapons over to our Forager build. Just like usual, we're going to be running this session the same way I always run my Arch-Tempered Kulve Taroth session. You're not allowed to attack Arch-Tempered Kulve Taroth or the Gajalakas at Pursuit 1. Everyone is meant to gather tracks, and then after we've done that for, you know, full track run farm, or farm, whatever the term is, we're going to attack her on our second run against her. Okay, so it's the same rules. If you're breaking the rules, you got to be educated. If you're not going to listen to people telling you to stop attacking her, I got to boot you. Let's go ahead and empty out our item loadout. If you are curious how to track farm Arch-Tempered Kulve Taroth, look in the description of my video. I have a link to a video. You know what? I'll just grab that link. Why not? I'm just going to grab the link. It will show you exactly what I'm talking about in 6 minutes. You can share this with randoms, you can share it with your friends, and you will do a better, faster job farming Arch-Tempered Kulve Taroth. By the way, let me know how my microphone is doing, if it needs to be louder, if it needs to be quieter even, right? Like if you hear a lot of right? If you hear a lot of that, it needs to be quieter. So yeah, just let me know how you want it. Or let me know how you want it. Let's go ahead and begin the siege. Just finished my commentary for my top 5 insect glaive video. I'll be editing that later tonight. Probably won't be done with it by tonight. Probably will get it done by tomorrow if I had to guess. Takes a long time to make those kind of videos. How's it going, Alpha Equinox? I see Drake and Josh, ZYX47, Tristan, Derek. By the way, Derek, my name's Derek. Yash, Jalim, Papaya, Team Neo Beyond FCBF, Law is Sauce McGee, Dest Blackout, hi Dest Blackout, Fire Raid, Red Rex Rules, Papaya again, and Derek. You sound great, that's good. I feel great. I have my coffee, and I'm playing Monster Hunter World. Kenji says, voice and chat isn't suitable. I'm not sure what he means by that. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. It is nearly summertime, and that means that I live in a condo complex. I own a condo, and what happens is we have people who go by and they mow the lawn for us because that's what a condo complex does. They hire people to mow the lawns. You don't mow your own lawn, and that means you're going to hear them doing stuff from now on, pretty much. They're going to come up to the door and be super loud. It's very annoying because it actually interrupts my voice recordings. Yeah, I can actually hear them working right now. How's it going, Luab? Silent Shawolfi says the session filled so fast. You know, it wasn't always that way. When I started doing live streams, you'd have like a few minutes before the session was really full. But I think people kind of figured out that you get your sessions done faster in this lobby, and so it became real popular to get in as fast as you could. Also, I imagine it's fun to be in the session because occasionally you're going to make it into the actual match where you're on TV, or on YouTube, I should say, and then you get to say, "That was me, Mom, look at me." Lawnmower, exactly. When I was younger, I didn't actually have to mow the lawn a lot. You know, I've been talking all morning to get my voice commentary done, and when you do that, it's like you get tongue-tied faster. It's like your brain's slowed down a little bit after you've done a lot of talking. If you talk for a long time, non-stop, your brain does get tired of talking. Should have made the thumbnail 4 hunters standing behind the couch over Kulve Taroth. Oh, I should do that one next. That sounds awesome. Oh, I wonder if I would get demonetized, because that one's pretty clearly linked to adult content. But no, I'll give that one a try if I can. 4 hunters. Triple Ace, how's it going, Triple Ace? Celeste says, I'm best waifu. Whoa. Some strong language right there, Celeste. Strong claims. Coffee drip. Nope, not a coffee drip, just a coffee mug. TGC made a video on Kulve sets and weapons. That's right. I made a video showing 14 counter build. Well, more than 14. It was more like, I mean, part 2 of the videos had like 30 builds in it alone. But it was a 2-part video, so you got to watch both videos if you want all the builds. And it's going to cover counter builds for all the weapons. I've been told that you could optimize the bow builds a little better. I think that people didn't like that I added Slugger to the bow builds. But honestly, I'll tell you the truth, there aren't a lot of other good chest pieces to put in that slot, which is the reason why I went with the Diablo's chest piece for that. Because it's like, you might actually get 2 KOs in a difficult fight, you might actually get 2 KOs. The truth is, Stage 4 of the Kulve Taroth fight, if you're using the strategy we're using, it's really not that hard. You're going to be okay. But yeah, if you want like to optimize the chest on the build just a little more, go for it. I would probably try to go for 2 KOs, because you never know, you might have somebody using like, oh, is this a crystal burst? I'm going to drop this for fun. You might have somebody using a hammer and sticky ammo and a hunting horn, and you might actually easily get 2 KOs. Yeah. Gameconomist, I think it's more pronounced like waifu. Is that how it's pronounced? I thought it was waifu. I'm actually terrible at anime. My wife, my actual wife, loves anime. She watches a lot of anime, and she makes me watch anime. But I watched Pokemon when I was younger, and I watched The Last Airbender. That was really good. And I did watch all of Full Metal Alchemist. I thought that was well made. But I don't actually go too crazy over anime. I just think it has a really kind of funny culture. It has a good internet culture. Anime does. Fits well with the internet. Ghostbit said, I've shared your Arch-Tempered Kulve guide to so many people because I had to fight Kulve Stage 2 and Pursuit 1 so many times. Oh my god, I know exactly what you're talking about, Ghostbit. I told you guys, was it yesterday or the day before that I actually played with some randoms. I needed some Emperor Nuggets, and I played with some randoms to get those Emperor Nuggets, and it was so bad. Like, I was kind of shocked how different it was from my usual sessions. It makes all the difference having a decent session, it really does. It was pretty shocking. Law is Sauce McGee says, lol, I can't, I'm terrible at anime. I am terrible at anime. I never, you know, and it's not just anime really, it's everything. If you didn't know this about me, and you probably don't, I don't actually like to watch a lot of television. I don't actually like to watch a lot of movies. I love scary movies. I'll watch scary movies all day, really creepy ones. And then for TV shows, I like South Park a lot. That's enjoyable. I watched The Great British Bake Off, all 6 seasons with my wife, because you guys probably don't know this about me either. I love to cook. I actually cook all the time. So we watched that together, and it was, you know, it was very proper and British. And we got knackered. But other than that, I don't actually watch a lot of television, and I don't actually... I watch a lot of informative videos on YouTube. I like to do that. And more than anything else, I actually watch a lot of politics. If I'm watching anything, most of the time I'm watching politics. So that's probably like 80% of everything I watch. So it's not that I don't consume media. I actually do consume a lot of media, but most of the time it's world news. And it's just all day long. I can't get enough of it. I really can't. I like reload my webpage all day long wondering when I'm going to hear more news. Like, what's happening now? But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how people get into TV shows. I never really related to storytelling that much. I'm playing Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. I'm doing that in a different live stream, and I don't do it very often. But I don't really care. These cutscenes come up, and I just immediately get bored. I'm like, okay, we gotta skip this cutscene because I do not give 2 craps about the story. I have fun fighting the monster, yes, but the story, no. And that's generally how I am in life. I don't know what makes a person that way. I think I'm very mechanical. Something about me is very mechanical. Storytelling is not that excited to me, and the mechanical aspects of a game are very exciting to me. It's what I enjoy. It's kind of like doing stuff with your hands, you know? You got to do something with your hands. That's why I went to school for computer science, because you're kind of doing stuff with your mind and your hands. You're not really storytelling at all when you're working on a program, right? It's very dry work. So I just enjoy that kind of stuff. This is part of my personality. And yeah, so anime kind of falls into this realm of, well, that's a TV show with the story. It's very hard to get me interested in. Very difficult. My wife tries though because she likes anime. I can recommend a good classic horror anime. Have you ever seen An American Werewolf in London? No, I have not. I've heard about that one. Hell's Kitchen. I did watch some Gordon Ramsay. He's a fun guy, but I could tell he was kind of a gimmick at some point. He does like to curse and yell, and it makes him a bit of a caricature. Where's the lamb sauce, right? He does all of that. That's all very fun. But his recipes are just okay, honestly. I think that his cooking's just okay a lot of the time. Gameconomist, how's your name spelled? As far as I know, mine is unique. Mine is far more unique. So mine is Darick, and I've only found one other guy with the name spelled that way. I've actually found a lot of people with the name spelled your way, where it's Dere. I've seen a lot of that, actually. Not that it's a contest. My parents spelling it so strangely is not a help, because people will mispronounce the name. They'll go Darick. They don't know how it's pronounced, and it just looks stupid in a bit. Although what's fun is it's spelled a bit the way my wife's name is spelled, so we enjoy that, having that similarity. How's it going, God Terror Boy? Lustalog. I just dropped in when he said, I like to do things with my hand. That's right. We all like to do things with our hands. Like strip Kulve Taroth of her gold mantle. She's not naked. All animals are naked, really. I love that line from Ramsay. Oh, he has a lot of good lines. All right, so we're done with that. Oh, right, we're supposed to put together a counter build, aren't we? I am not ready to do that. I didn't open up my counter build videos. Do I have any pre-made? Oh, we do. We have these pre-made weapons right here, pre-made setups. I'll just use these. So we'll start with Magma, I believe. These are elemental bowgun builds. That's the, let's go ahead and manage items. We're going to go grab this guy right here. So here's the build. And basically I did this yesterday for David Larson. These are heavy bowgun elemental ammo builds. We'll begin the siege. And I'll just do a chef's... Oh, I have a chance for feline insurance. There you go. How's it going, Pickle Man? Thanks for joining the stream. I appreciate it. John Smith says, how is the ice? Frozen, chef. Jesus Christ. A good horror anime is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I keep hearing that name of that anime title. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I never get the references, though, because I've never seen it. I started playing Terraria IQ. If you guys didn't know, God Terror Boy, he has 200 Terraria IQ. It's a fact. He's smarter than all of you, so get over yourselves. Oh, we got our teammates here. Here we go. Derek Hyman says, ah, shit, gotta go to work. Glad I got to see what part of this stream I could. Ah, have fun at work, Derek. Guess what I get to do for work? I get to play this game. Let's grab this. Oh, come on, I work. Actually, I work like 12 to 14 hours a day doing YouTube, so it's like a never-ending cycle of work, so it better be fun. Otherwise, I wouldn't do this. Heck no. I thought I shot the rock. I guess not. How's it going, Scepter? Thanks for joining the stream. You know, I recognize more and more people's names as I continue to do these daily streams. I really do. Think we can get forwards? Because she's going to stand up and walk forward a little bit first. You know, I should have pulled the trigger a little earlier. How's it going, Sam Hosking? I wish I could quit my job. Well, start a business, you know? That's why I recommend start a business. Start any kind of business you can. Before I went to college, I was making like $12,000 a year on eBay. That doesn't sound like a lot. It is a lot. If you've ever earned $12,000 a year on eBay, you would know that you're moving a lot of product You're making $1,000 purchases on products, and you are shipping like 12 packages a day. Not a day. It was more like, let's be honest, it was more like five. Yeah, I would say about 5 products a day. But I was doing that while I was in college, and it was really important for me to do that to afford going to college. How's it going, Stray? Thanks for joining the stream. Sam Hoskins says, it's 4:18 in the morning? Go to bed, Sam. What are you thinking? Recognize me. Should I be over there, you think? Look at Dream. He's definitely going to get the knockdown on that. You know what would annoy everybody is if I... Oh. There we go. Ore and gold plating broken. Jump over here. Jump over here. Oh no, I pushed it too early. I meant to hold, not actually... Oh, I think the whole thing missed her. Oh, that's so sad. Actually, it says giant horns chipped. Maybe some of them landed. I meant to hold the cannon. I didn't mean to fire it. Was not ready to fire it. Gameconomist is greater than sleep. I don't know about that. Sleep's pretty important. Besides, I'll be streaming so long, I'll stream for like 10, 12 hours. You can go to sleep and watch in the morning. No, that's not true. I don't do that. Some streamers do that. I don't think I have enough, like, donators or whatever you want to call them to do something like that. I probably would if I had a bunch of donators. I know there's like Twitch guys who have like a bunch of whatever they're called, like subscribers. Did you guys know YouTube has the same thing? It's called memberships with YouTube. But that's not why I stream. I just streamed because I enjoy the game, honestly. So let's see. She's gonna get mad just about over here. Can somebody tell me a good QR switch axe I should farm? Good QR switch axe. I know that the spark, the QR spark and the QR ice are good for fighting arch-tempered Kulve Taroth, so that alone, you know, is worth going after. Although it's kind of strange, there's no point to fighting her afterwards once you have all the weapons. Which heavy bowgun do you think is better, QR Assault Magma or Magma Gametis? Oh, Magma Gametis, yeah. Yeah, Magma Gametis is a better gun. Come on down, Kulve Taroth. Yeah, you got the sticky ammo on the Magna Gametis, which makes it like 10 times better. It's not even a competition, really. Did you do some challenge called Best Waifu 2? No? I'm not sure what you mean by that. God Terra Boy says, I made the Kulve Taroth sign into a sprite and I'm proud of it. Oh, she's digging. How long have you been Monster Hunter? With the franchise, or do you mean playing this particular title? With this title, it's about 1,500 hours. I play a lot. I stream with you guys every day. That's like 2 hours a day, and then after I'm done streaming, I go and I make videos, and those videos require specific footage, and I'll be always running these tests and stuff like that. So it's a lot. It's quite a bit. Get this thunder ammo. How do I have 500 hard armor spheres Kulve Taroth runs? Yeah, Kulve Taroth kind of threw off the whole economy of the game. Back when the game came out, everyone was like, how do I make more Zenny? And it's like, now it's like, have you tried fighting Kulve Taroth? You'll be a millionaire in 3 runs. Oh, she's mad. Gameconomist, can you play Charge Blade sometime today? Please, it's fun to see you getting better at it. P.S. Switch to Axe for height and use AED on Kulve on stage 4. Oh, okay. That's interesting. I know what the AED is. I'm not very good at it. Tiny Tender says, this is an Xbox. Unsubscribe. Xbox is trying to be friendlier to the PC, though, isn't it? And they're like kind of a miniature alliance between them a bit. And really, that's only true because Xbox knows that it's struggling. I can't remember the latest numbers. Wasn't it like 9 million Xboxes sold, but then it was like 20 million PlayStations? So, pretty bad. Microsoft really effed everything up with that the beginning of this generation, really. And who knows if they recover from it. If you watch, there was times when Xbox was the most purchased console in the past, and that was with the Xbox 360. There were times when it was the most purchased console, but they effed up royally with Xbox One. Yeah, that was a big mistake. We'll see what they pull out of the bag this time. It's so sad because the gaming market is such a valuable market to have control over. Microsoft was probably like, yes! And then they effed it up, man. What do you think you're doing, Kulve? You think I'm just gonna let you slam into me? I don't think so. Why is she digging again? Stop digging. Papaya asks, when is she supposed to come out on console again? And she comes out in 2 more days. Fear not. Forget Taroth, Mortal Kombat. You mean SJW Combat? Didn't you guys hear they have like, all their women are like closed or whatever? They don't have boobies out anymore? I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if you guys were, oh, I was barely paying attention there. I died so fast. Oh, sad day. I'm reading the comments. I really should be, oh, it's okay. I had feline insurance, didn't I? That's okay. Let's go ahead, since we're here, let's go ahead and swap out to the ice water. We'll refresh our item loadout. Yeah, that was an ouchie. Wait, are these going to be loaded? Yeah, they're loaded. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention enough. I saw the fire and I started to roll out of it. I guess I wasn't doing enough because she just wiped me out right away. I heard all the controversy with Mortal Kombat, though, becoming more like SJW and all that stuff, and it's sad, actually. Normally, I don't care. You know, video games should do whatever the market dictates that a video game does, but it's kind of like if... Here, let me explain. It's kind of like if Grand Theft Auto suddenly caved to all the pressure to be SJW, nice, I don't know what you want to call it, like feminists, right? That's what this is like, because I'm old enough to remember Mortal Kombat was like famous. It was famous for doing things that were outrageous and terrible. You know, they had sexuality in their game. They had gore in their game, like tons of gore. Parents thought it was satanic, and they were famous for it. They built their franchise on that. Now they're like, oh well, we wouldn't want to offend women, or whatever it is that their thoughts are. Am I gonna die again? Oh my god. That was pretty bad. Alright, well now we should have 2 lives left. I think we're still going to be okay. Yeah, not a fan of them taking that position at all. It reminds me of what Battlefront 5 did, or whatever. Is it Battlefield or Battlefront? I believe it's Battlefield. Battlefield 5 with the women with like the bionic arm in World War II. I get it. Video game companies want a few things. Video game companies want to be able to sell their video game to international countries, and some countries are much more strict about sexuality than the West, okay? So they want to be able to sell their video games over there, and they don't want to offend the feminists, right? They don't want to offend women. They want women to buy the game as well as men. Totally get all of that. But it's like in this case, Mortal Kombat was famous. They were famous for doing terrible things. They should have gone the other direction. They should have made their women even more scantily clad, because that would be classically Mortal Kombat. That would be like, that's the Mortal Kombat I know and that I grew up with. It's frustrating for me, actually. I really do care about that particular title because it's such a famous franchise. You know what I mean? It's really a famous franchise. It's not like other franchises. It's like a titan of game industry. We gonna wake her up? Tail's broken. Alright, so I better stop dying now. Let's put on our temporal mantle so that we don't die as much. Should have just done that from the start. My teammates are like, what the heck, Gameconomist? We need to win. Alright, she's paralyzed. I'm in your session, probably the healthiest session to farm Arch-Tempered Kulve Taroth. Nice. Oh right, I know this move. Can't get me, Kulve. I got my baby blanket on. Got 28 shots left. Ouch. So, yeah. I've actually played a fair amount of Mortal Kombat as well. I have a friend who's really into that game. And just like a few games ago, the women were scantily clad, but be careful. You don't want to offend, I don't know. Like, it used to be cool to offend Christians. Remember that? In the 90s and the early 2000s, it was like cool to offend Christians. Now it's like, oh, we better have modesty. That's what feminism feels like today. It's like a new religion. Like, oh, you better not offend the feminists. You better be very modest. We don't show that skin. Like, what happened? It's like we're going backwards. I thought that feminism was like, now you can be sexy and wear what you want, and you can own your sexuality and be just as sexual as men. Instead, it's like, oh no, cover that up. No sexual women in my video game. No way. It's not like we have sexualized men in our video games. That would be unfair if we did that. We gotta have our women hidden. And just like our hidden... We don't have hidden men. Men are like ripped and they're like fucking awesome. But the girls, it's just like, nuh-uh, you better hide those boobies. They're just part of the human anatomy and we find it attractive. I mean, it's pretty universally attractive, but you better hide that. You don't want to offend the feminists. You better be able to sell your video game internationally to countries that don't like boobies. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. Famous. Mortal Kombat was famous for breaking those rules. Now it's just like, it's so whipped. So I'm not going to buy that title. I don't want to support that, honestly. Give me a title that's like blatantly politically incorrect. I will buy that title. Hey, Gameconomist, what do you think would be better for Charge Blade on Kulve Taroth, Raw or Elemental? Elemental is now, if you have the Kiara Ice and the Kiara Thunder, that's your better option. It used to be that you would take the Diablos Charge Blade. That would be Raw. So it depends on what Charge Blades you own, which is why in my counter build video, I provide a counter build for both Ice and Raw builds. I also do a budget build, which is where I don't use any expensive armor. Next, Mortal Kombat flat chests. Well, if you actually kind of look into the issue, because other people have talked about the issue in Mortal Kombat extensively, if you actually look at the characters, they made them ugly as hell, man. They made them look like men. You're not allowed to look like a woman. You gotta look like, I don't know, like you're transitioning or something. They look like straight up men, like facially. You hide their bodies and give them men's faces. And it's just like, the frick? What the frick? When will you learn? So, yeah. This is my opinion. You guys are welcome to have a different opinion on the issue. Trust me, I could complain and argue all day. It's in my nature. So don't let me bring you down. If you're enjoying the game, you enjoy the game. I'm a little more political. I don't like that stuff. They did that to Dragon Age Inquisition. They're like, we're going to be so woke. Check this out. All the women have military haircuts and they're ugly AF. They are bad looking. Look how woke we are. See, because this is what women are. This is what real women look like. It's like, it's a video game. Let me have sexy women. Why do I need my women to be ugly in a video game? It's like, who are you really listening to in your consumer market? Are there women out there going, I wish I had ugly women that I could play as? Then when I play a video game, I don't I don't go, man, I wish I had ugly men as that I could play as. I want the guy that I'm playing as to be buff as hell and cool, right? So like with women, like what do they want? Like a man character who's also a woman, or I don't understand. I don't understand any of it. And if you complain about it, you got to be careful because you're going to get in trouble for complaining about it. That's how it is now. You get in trouble for saying all this. But I'm not that famous, so nobody cares about me. Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and start up another track farm run. I'm just a guy playing Monster Hunter World. This is why I hate video games. They appeal to the male fantasy. It's like, what do you think a video game is? It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. A video game, quite literally, is a fantasy, and the majority of people playing it are men. They like to say that men and women equally play games. This is true if you count a whole bunch of social media games, and if you count a whole bunch of like cell phone games, right? So if you're talking about, I don't know, Nintendogs, maybe like there's a mobile app for Animal Crossing now. Yeah, women play those games a lot. But if you're talking about core games like famous Mortal Kombat, video games that changed the industry, a whole bunch of women aren't playing that game. It's mostly dudes. And there's probably some women playing it as well. Well, give them an option to play, a modest woman if they want. Like, give them a skin. But don't take your iconic characters and be like, okay, now she's a Christian. Like, when did she become a Christian? She was never a Christian ever in the history of Mortal Kombat. She showed her boobs off in a bikini for 10 years, and now you're saying she's modest. Like, what happened? She got super woke. That's what happened. Your character got super duper woke. And it's just like, ugh. Give me back my boobies. How's it going, Elias Moran? I'm glad you could join the stream. Yeah, we just started. Mobile games aren't real games. That is absolutely right. Mobile games are more of a casual thing. They're not a core game. I have met girls that sit down and they do games as a lifestyle. That's where you play for like 8 hours a day. It's your hobby. I have met girls like this. They're usually pretty cool. They're not like super angry about feminism. There are probably women who play games as a lifestyle who are feminists. But typically, if you do find a girl and she does play for like 8 hours a day, she loves video games, and that's mainly what she thinks about. She doesn't think about how much feminism can we get into video games. But is it just like everything else? Recently, everything's become hyper politicized. It's all about identity politics, and you have like the game industry is affected by it as well. And you should punish the game industry if you allow them to get affected by it. I think the majority of gamers are not interested in identity politics. Not even close, I'm guessing. The majority of gamers, core gamers, I mean like real gamers, people who will play for 8 hours a day, the majority of them don't want their video games to go from being works of art and works of fantasy to being a political statement about like gender politics. Heck no. Boobies for the win. That's right, Elias. Boobies for the win. It's so weird. It's just like, oh man, modesty. Like, what happened? I thought you guys were against the Christians. Now you are them. You're just a different version of them. Like, we better not show a sexy woman's face. That could arouse men while they're playing as women. Right? It's just all over the place. It makes no sense. Everyone wants to be offended by everything. But what's really happened here is Mortal Kombat has kind of lost its identity as a game changer in the game industry, doing stuff that I don't want to go as far to say it's revolutionary, but yeah, back then it was kind of revolutionary, It pushed boundaries, and now they're going the opposite direction, and it's pathetic. It's pathetic and it's sad. And like I said, I'm probably older than some of you guys, and I actually do remember the earlier titles of Mortal Kombat, and I do remember all of the pushback from Christians and parents who are like, we need to get rid of all the gore and sexiness in Mortal Kombat. And now it's in the future, and we're doing it to ourselves. We're just like, now we have these kids who grew up. We used to be young and look at Mortal Kombat and go, wow, that's gory. Now we're adults, and we're going, I'm not going to buy that game unless you get rid of the boobies in the game. Like, who's doing this? I'm not going to buy the game unless all of the women have masculine faces. Who's doing this? Somebody's doing it. Somebody's in an office chair going, you know what our women need? They need to look just like men. And then people will like our video game more. Like, hell no. I don't know where that comes from. It's coming from somewhere. I swear to God. Swear to God. Some of it's got to be that certain countries won't buy your game unless your women have a certain amount of modesty. I won't say what countries, but I'm pretty sure that's playing a role here. The second one is definitely SJW, gender politics, wokeness. So it's probably a combination. Boobies got nerfed. That's right. Joshin says, I'm more of a Killer Instinct guy. You know, I never really played that game, Killer Instinct. I did play a decent amount of Mortal Kombat. I played a lot of Soul Calibur. And then, of course, my favorite probably was Super Smash Brothers. I love Super Smash Brothers. Big fan of that game. You watch Super Smash Brothers, the next title will come out, and Zero Suit Samus, she'll be wearing a sweater so that you don't see, like, the curvature of her breasts or something. Because that's what she is in the game. She's a sexy character. Zero Suit Samus. What they did to the characters in Mortal Kombat would be like if Nintendo released Zero Suit Samus and they're like, you know, that's a little immodest. Can we put her in a gown? Can we put her in a robe so that you can't see the curvature of her body? That's essentially what Mortal Kombat has done. They've done the same. They've done exactly that, and it's annoying. And I hope they don't. I hope they don't make good sales. They probably will, just because it's such a famous game. But who knows? Who knows? Gameconomist talking about boobies. That's right. Boobies are a natural part of the naked human body. It is okay to be a naked human being. All human babies are made with naked human beings getting together and doing something that is completely natural and okay. People who are super into modesty are like weird and embarrassed by nakedness, and they're embarrassed by sexiness, and they need to be slapped in the face a few times and told to relax and have a beer or something. I don't know. They really do. They need to chill the F out. Stop telling everyone else how to live. I don't know how to say his name. Shadow Joe says, can someone tell me why he collects everything? Not only the tracks, but stuff like bitterbugs and godbugs? Why? I mean, it's like, why wouldn't you collect godbugs? Then you don't have to farm them. That's a pretty simple question. Modestro says, I do agree with you on Mortal Kombat. It was always known for being gore and overly sexualized like anime, for example. Precisely. And it's an old game. It's been around for a long time. Covering your women up to appease, I'm guessing, some kind of minority group that says we need our women to have masculine faces, and they need to have tiny breasts, and they need to cover all the way up. It's just a bad move, I think, a bad business move. It's a bad business move, it's insulting, and honestly, it's just bad for your brand. Like, I like companies like Grand Theft Auto, and I used to like Mortal Kombat because they pushed the envelope on those issues that says, this is art. You don't get to decide what's in my art. My art can be as gross and terrible as I feel like it. You don't get to push your Christian religious beliefs about what people should be allowed to buy with their own money. That was what I liked about them. I loved that about them. I'm like, yeah. Now it's like we're trying to censor ourselves as quickly as we can because we're so woke. How fast can we make everything modest? It's just a new religion. It's a new religion. We stopped being Christian and we formed a new religion called identity politics. It's terrible. Silent Shawolfi says, they shouldn't be afraid of boobs as part of the body. It's so dumb that people want to censor women or man bodies. It's because they want to be offended. They want to be offended and say, oh, look what men do. They just want women with big boobs. Sorry, men do want women with big boobs. It's like, if you look at data and history, men had smaller dicks in the past and women had smaller breasts. Now we're in the future, and it turns out all of our genitals are larger because we tend to pick partners who have large genitals. You know, your breast isn't a genital; it's like a sexual organ, right? So we pick partners based on the size of their sexual organs. So when we make a degenerate kind of video game that explores all of these kinds of things, of course they're gonna have giant boobs and you're gonna have big, strong men. What the F, man? They're like getting rid of that. Mortal Kombat, sponsored by the Catholic Church. Mortal Kombat 11. The Catholic Church loves it. Stupid as hell. I don't know what they're thinking. Somebody in their office is like an SJW. I'm sure of it. All right, we got to put enough epic ranting. We need to put another build together. I am not a big fan of SJWs. Let's see. Let's do a greatsword build. I'm not a big fan of identity politics either. I would love to see all that come to an end real soon. But it's not going to end. It's going to last forever. People can't get enough of it. Give me that Azora Spine. And we're going to put on Kaiser Greaves. Nope, you know what? We're actually going to put on Damascus. No, we're not going to put on Damascus because I don't think we can afford it because of Part Breaker. Pretty sure we can't afford it. Let's finish Vitality? Why do we have so much Vitality? Okay, whatever. That's fine. Finish off Bomber here. We'll finish off Tenderizer here. And we will put the Elementless in early. We want Crit Boost, of course. SJW. I'm a keyboard warrior. Vitality. Ah, I guess I'm just so fed up with it, guys. Really, I am. Can I get more affinity in there? Oh, I already had 7 crit eye. I'm so stupid. Huh, how do I get more affinity in here? I don't think there's a way. I should just have my video open. Guess I'm not going to have more affinity in the build. Where are them focus decorations? So the problem is we can't fit focus into the build, and this is because we have 3 levels of Part Breaker. I mean, you could fit it in the build, but you're going to give up a whole bunch of affinity. Big Boobies mod, every monster gets giant boobies, and you can mount them with your switch axe. Take crit boost out. I'm not going to take crit boost out for focus. Crit boost is too important. Focus does contribute to your damage output, but crit boost is also very, very important. In fact, it's when you add crit boost that your damage escalates in an exponential way. Hey, Gameconomist, have you ever played Dungeons and Dragons? I have not, actually. Where's your health boost 5? Ah, man, where's my health boost 5 now? More affinity? Bring the affinity booster. That's an idea. Bernie Sanders will fix the nation. Bernie Sanders. Let's grab this stone. Right, we're going to get started. I think I just jumped off without resetting my items. Attack boost for 5 more affinity, that's true. That would have brought us up to 40. Yeah, I hadn't traded out my items. There we go. Much better. Boop. What is your elemental? Where is your elementalist level 7? Alright, nice. The horn plating is broken. Let's break her horns entirely. Oh, this guy's gonna interrupt me. That's too bad. Alright, let's get up. I'm so laughing at Bernie. He will be a victim of the identity politics he pushes so hard. Alexander, you would be surprised how kind of accurate you are on that issue. I was reading a New York Times article, and the article was talking about is Bernie Sanders too white and too male? I kid you not. I could probably find that article and link it in the chat session. He was talking about, do we really want the leader of the Democrat Party to be another old white man? They were saying that. They were saying that about Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders. Yeah, identity politics is... It's so sad because the Democrat Party is supposed to keep the Republican Party in balance, right? The Republican Party, you run the risk of, corporations having too much power, having a monopoly, really, is probably the biggest risk. And the Democrat Party is supposed to be the working man's party, and it's supposed to be the party of labor, right? And it keeps the corporate elitists in check. Instead, the left party has become like, I don't know, like the socialist party and the party of identity politics. They've like lost what made them so valuable to everyone, why everyone paid attention to them. So I don't understand why either. It's just, I don't know. Couldn't tell you. Oh, there it is. Blow that up. And she's gonna turn red and get real mad. Where is Walla, by the way? Where is Wallamanga? We need Wallamanga in here. Stat. Wait, I don't need to eat. Politics with the Gameconomist. I was, over the last 2 days, I was listening to a whole bunch of Milton Friedman. He's a pretty famous economist. He won a Nobel Prize in economics for his work on the free market, and I'd always heard about him, but I'd never really read or watched much of his work, and I was watching him. Man, he's great. He says so many things that are just like straight up common sense about the way humans interact in the market and issues that you don't foresee when you create policies. Like, what if we just give a whole bunch of money to the poor? It's like, well, that sounds nice, but what actually happens when you give a bunch of money to the poor? Does the country become wealthier? Or did you just take money from one place and move it to another, and it turns out the poor aren't as good at spending money? Especially when they're spending other people's money, right? I think that was one that really stuck with me. People spend other people's money worse. They do not spend other people's money better. Distorted Color says, has anyone spontaneously shot diarrhea out of their mouths? Is that a thing? Oh, that sounds awful. Never heard of that. Oh, I should have refreshed my items. Alright, we're out of barrel bombs, so I'll hold off on that. Come on, Kulve, turn red. You know you want to turn red, Kulve. I smacked her right in the chest. That'll help. Some poor people are poor for a reason, right? So Milton Friedman was talking about that. He's saying it's so what he was talking about was so relevant to what's going on today, because we have one politician, Andrew Yang, and he's saying, you know what we should do? We should just give everyone $1,000. And Milton Friedman says, yeah, you give everyone $1,000, and what happens is all of the companies now know that everyone has $1,000, and they just raise their price, and it's called inflation. And he's saying, where did you get that $1,000? He's saying you either printed that money, which you're not allowed to do. Printed money is a hidden tax, or you redistributed wealth from the wealthy, and you didn't actually create a new product. You didn't create a new product, which means there was no wealth created. And the idea here from Andrew Yang is that once the poor people have their things paid for, they'll go out and start businesses. Milton Friedman, all the way back in like the 80s, was saying, when the poor people have all their things paid for, they don't actually go start businesses. That's why they're poor, because they're not interested in businesses. They want to be workers, they want to work for somebody, and they're interested in laying on the beach and having a nice day at the beach, which is normal. A lot of people do just want to lay on the beach, and the thing is, with business owners, they don't. Ah, darn. Business owners want to go out and run a business all day. They don't want to go to the beach. And he says that's the real reason that you have rich people and poor people, because somebody goes and they do something really difficult and they do it better than everyone else. And if you just take that guy's wealth away and transfer it around, nothing really happened. Nothing really good happened out of that. So it was really interesting listening to him talk. Of course, you can debate his ideas. You don't necessarily have to agree with them. It was just interesting to hear his ideas, really. Oh no, Kulve Taroth's fire is causing magma. Oh, so close. Really, really close on that one. Come on, Kulve, just a little closer. Oh, please let this one land. There it goes. Okay, tail's broken. We got the horns chipped and the tail's broken. Now we're just kind of waiting for her to go into stage 4 so we can break those horns off. There she goes. Everybody asks, do you play on PlayStation 4? Do you play on PlayStation 4? I get asked so much. Milton Friedman. Milton Friedman says the reason that you stay poor is because the government prints money, and when the government prints money, there's more money in circulation, which means that you have to have more money for the money to be worth it, to be worth anything, and that's called inflation. That's some really basic economics. Inflation is a very basic part of economics. And he's saying when the government promises to pay for your things, and the government doesn't have enough money to pay for your things, it pays for a few ways. One of the ways is to borrow that money from another country, and then you owe that country interest for like ever until you pay it off, or you print more money, which is inflation, and it means that all the money you earn from then on is less valuable. That's what Milton Friedman was saying. Oh, damn it. Oh, she's going to sleep, right? No, she's like stunned. Ah, you gotta be kidding me. Boom. Wow, that's like 900 damage. Really good. Oh, too early. So, I'm doing this thing now where I don't want to charge all the way up for the wake-up attack because it takes so long. I feel that on a team of 4 it's not worth it. There we go. Look at that. See, if I had taken the time to do a true charge slash, we would have just been wasting time. It didn't even make a difference. Will Schmuck says the other side to all this is that people will always try to exploit the system to get as much money as possible, which creates the big divide between the wealthy and the poor. I think what's creating the divide between the wealthy and the poor is the wealthy keep buying stock and the poor never buy stock. You buy candy bars, but you don't buy $1 worth of stock. You buy, I don't know, a new video game, but you don't buy $60 worth of stock. You buy a luxury car that you probably could have bought a much cheaper version of, but you don't buy stock. And rich people, what they tend to do is they just buy stuff. They buy stuff like stock and property, then they rent out the property. My wife and I want to do that. We want to buy property and rent it out. We want to buy stock as soon as we're done with our student debt. And I feel like that's a bigger explanation for why people stay poor and why the wealthy get insanely wealthy. Because the wealthy, rather than owning candy bars or whatever it is you spend your money on, they just own as many assets. Assets are things that earn you money. And then when they need money, they just sell one of their assets, so they still have their own money. That's one of the interesting things. When you buy a candy bar, you're not going to like resell it to anybody. When you buy a stock and you need your money back, you just sell the stock off. And then stocks have like better tax rates than regular income and stuff like that. White Black P Paradin says, Gameconomist, I have some serious question. My friend is trying to use longsword with paralysis. Shouldn't paralysis be used in the final phases? Because he's now just used it in the first phase. So what White Black P Paradin is saying is, my friend just paralyzed Kulve Taroth. Did he just screw things up? He did. Your friend should be using the Kiar Spark longsword if he has it. If he doesn't have Kiar Spark, he should be using the Taroth Fire longsword with raw damage. If he doesn't have that, he should be using the Reaver Calamity Devil Joe longsword. He should not be using the Paralysis longsword. He's messing up your run. He's getting rid of one of your stage 4 crowd controls. That's what he's doing. Modestro says, in my country, $60 won't get you any stock anywhere. Lol, I wish it did. I don't quite understand what you mean by that, Modestro. When it comes to stock is an international good. So as long as you have the ability to open up a stock brokering account, which is very easy these days, there's all kinds of online companies willing to do this. They're kind of like banks. You send them, there's the Kiar Sword Decay, you send them your money and then you tell them what stocks you want to buy. I've done this personally. It's actually, but see, maybe you're saying that you have special rules in your country that don't allow this. So I can understand your frustration if that's the case, but I kind of doubt that that's the case because most countries that are even kind of developed encourage you to buy stock, especially stock in companies that are part of your own country. So I'm not sure if you know what you're talking about, I suppose. Zephyrus, I can't see his comment anymore, it got bumped up. Will Schmuck says, the wealthy don't pay taxes. Amazon was given money back in their taxes. Well, Amazon's a company. Jeff Bezos is a different story. So Jeff Bezos would have paid taxes on his own income. But I agree, Amazon not paying any taxes, I think is just a bit too outrageous for me. The reason they were able to pay no taxes is because companies hire the smartest people in the world to find a way to use the tax code to avoid as much taxes as possible. And they were able to do this because they have brick and mortar stores, but they also have, everybody's ready. We could just get started. Well, we'll wait for the last person. They have brick and mortar stores, but they're an online retailer, and they do a lot of other things like in distribution, and there's different rules in the tax codes for each of those like groups, right? And so Amazon was able to facilitate all of the different tax codes for the different types of businesses to get their taxes all the way down to zero by whenever they were investing or doing something that lost the money, they took advantage of the tax code, and this countered the taxes they would have paid when they were making money. It's really outrageous, though, because they're the large tech company putting a lot of other small businesses out of business. You know, they're destroying competition, and the idea that they would pay no taxes on their income is just a little bit silly. A lot of people were outraged by that. The problem is we need to write the tax code in a way that Amazon can't evade it. But here's the real problem. Let's say you're real smart. You're a smart accountant. You're real smart. Who are you going to work for? The government, which everyone's going to hate you and blame you for everything, and you're going to have a limit to how much you can earn. You're going to get paid whatever your state pays you for. Maybe you're the federal government. You're getting paid a little better. Or are you going to work for a corporation that's going to pay you the mega big bucks to write really smart, to do really good accounting to help you avoid those taxes? And the truth is, the smartest accountants end up going to these corporations rather than writing the laws for the government because the pay is better. Of course they're going to do that. And so you run into this kind of issue, and it's just a challenge for lawmakers to be able to write laws that make it so that Amazon can't get around the tax code. It's very difficult to do this. But I agree. I think that paying no taxes this year, when you're the largest, most disruptive company in the world, as clever as it looks like for them, I don't think most Americans will agree with that. And that's why we have representatives. So you need to hear if Donald Trump will change the tax code to make sure that Amazon pays taxes next year. And if Donald Trump doesn't say that he will make that change, maybe you should vote for Bernie Sanders, even if you don't agree with them on social issues and socialism. And that's how politics is supposed to work. It's why you could be Hillary Clinton and pay more money, more campaign ads than Donald Trump and still lose. It's because the people still decide who gets to run the country. And it's a difficult issue. It really is. Aqua Equinox says, if you want to make a bit of cash, keep your eye on upcoming games and news. EA stock was pretty poor, but after Apex, stock went up by a huge amount. That's right. If you guys feel like you're not interested in learning about the stock market and purchasing stock, well, probably what you should do is just hire a stock brokerage like Edward Jones is a good example of that. Raymond James. I almost worked for one actually. Just hire up somebody who helps you retire. Tell them you want to open up a retirement account, and they will take your money and they'll invest it in a mutual fund. And a mutual fund is really, it's not a complicated thing. A mutual fund is like if you bought a stock from every company that was a good company, and what that does is it hedges against risk. So if one of the companies you're buying a stock in kind of like does bad, you still have the other 20 companies you're buying a stock in. So that's a mutual fund, and a mutual fund allows you to participate in many companies at the same time, in kind of like micro purchases. And so you'd open up a retirement account and you'd contribute to your mutual fund. And over time, that mutual fund is going to make you a lot of money because it turns out the stock market makes you a lot of money. It always has. The stock market has traditionally returned about 7% of whatever you invest into the stock market. This is still true today. If you look at the stock market, it has done nothing but climb. And yet, still, a lot of poor people don't know how to participate in the stock market. They never buy stock. They're told to be employees, right? Like that alone is just unfair. You shouldn't be being told to be an employee. Somebody should be telling you that your job is to own things. Your job is to own stock. Your job is to own a business and put your name on it and earn the actual revenue and own the asset. Right? You don't want to be an employee. Employees stay poor their whole lives. There's exceptions, like if you're a really special employee, like a doctor, an engineer, a lawyer. Those are specialized employee jobs. But if you're not going to be one of those things, you better be a business owner because you're going to be poor otherwise. And that's just how the world works. So you need to learn how to create a retirement account and invest in these mutual funds. If you're really want to get into stock investment, then you're probably going to go to school for finance and learn a bit of accounting and learn a bit about the markets and stuff like that. Alexandra Vincenot says, what are your thoughts on representative democracies? So the reason Alexander asks about my opinion on representative democracies is because America does not have a true democracy. A true democracy is where one vote goes directly toward who's going to be the president of the country. Back when America was being founded, the founding fathers said, we don't want that. We don't want a direct democracy because the founding fathers had studied the Greeks and they'd studied other governments like the British and French, and they said direct democracies have this scary risk where a charismatic popular leader can come forward and say, hey, vote for me, I'll give you all the things. And then the people, because they're not very well educated about how economics work, about how a country is ran, because they're not very smart, they vote for him because he's charismatic and because he promises you a lot of things. So what the founding fathers very wisely did is they said, you'll vote for representatives, and then those representatives will choose who the president is going to be. That's what the founding fathers, and they were right about that, to be honest, because the majority of people don't educate themselves on economics, and the majority of people don't really understand, hey, if Bernie Sanders promises you a bunch of free stuff. Here's a good one. Elizabeth Warren just said that she's going to forgive all school debt. I have school debt. This would help me. If Elizabeth Warren said, I'm going to give you debt forgiveness, Gameconomist, she would forgive me about $40,000 right now. I'd just be getting $40,000. Where does that $40,000 actually come from? The government prints money. That's where it comes from. And when the government prints money, that printed money is a secret tax on everyone, because as soon as there's more money in circulation, that means that everyone's money is less valuable, okay? And companies raise their prices to meet this new availability of money. It also is very similar to like what happened, well, I won't go into those details actually, that's kind of a tangent, but that's the problem. You get populist politicians who come up and they say, I will give you everything free if you just vote for me. And the founding fathers said, that's an idiot idea. If we allow a direct democracy, that's exactly what people will want, and that's what you've seen throughout the history of all governments. You have this constant conflict between the rich and the poor, and this idea that, well, we need wealth redistribution, and the question is how much wealth redistribution is actually good. And I believe that some wealth redistribution is actually good, but the question is how much. And very often you'll see these politicians rise up who says, we're going to give you a lot. That's kind of what Bernie Sanders is doing. Bernie Sanders is saying, I'm going to give you a lot. And I don't necessarily agree with Bernie Sanders. What I think needs to happen is the cost of healthcare needs to come down. Okay, so Bernie Sanders is saying, I'm just going to give everyone free healthcare. What needs to happen is America's healthcare system needs to become the cheapest available healthcare in the world rather than the most expensive healthcare in the world. Because the truth is, you don't want to pay 40% taxes on your income. I already pay, I'm getting closer to that amount. Like, the more you earn in life, some of you guys listening to me might actually be pretty young, and you don't know what it's like to pay a lot of taxes yet. When the government starts taking 25, 26, 27% of your taxes, and you see yourself lose like $19,000 to the government, you start to feel it. And then when you think, oh my gosh, with Bernie Sanders, my taxes could be a whopping 40%, so that I can pay for somebody else's kids to go to college, and I can pay for somebody else's kid to go to the hospital. Which, again, I care about other people. I'm just thinking about the system. Rather than redistributing the wealth, we could just make we could just make healthcare very affordable, and then people really wouldn't complain as much about healthcare. They'd be like, yeah, I had to go to the hospital. I did have to have some kind of expensive treatment because it was cancer, but instead of being $60,000, it was like $10,000, which is a more manageable amount. You get like some financing or something like. But the point is, having the most expensive healthcare in the world, it just feels like something's wrong. And Bernie Sanders' solution is to just be like, well, why don't we just do free healthcare, a single-payer system, and the government will bargain on your behalf on how much we'll pay for. And I'm not necessarily against a single-payer system either, but the idea that we'll just redistribute the wealth to give everyone healthcare, I don't know if that system will actually be the most effective system. Ghost says there's no such thing as a free lunch. I agree with this. That it just doesn't exist. There's no free stuff. Gotta go, be back in a bit, bye, see you later. Funky says, Gameconomist, are you high today, talking about politics, feminism, religion? No, actually, if you get to know me, this is the kind of stuff I talk about in real life. I play a lot of video games, clearly, but this is things I'm very passionate about. Justin says, I would pay more in taxes for free healthcare. So, Justin Gomez, and that's the argument, Justin Gomez. Let me say, what if you were actually well off, Justin? What if you became an engineer someday because you're bright? You're a smart kid. And the government says, you're going to pay 40% of all of your income to other people because you're bright. How would that actually make you feel? You'd be frustrated, especially if part of becoming bright meant taking lots of risks, like pulling out a student loan to go to school. Doing the work of becoming an engineer, you don't know what that's like. It's difficult. You sit up and do homework all day. You eat potatoes rather than going out to eat and hanging out with your friends. You eat potatoes and do your freaking homework. You know, you take all these damn math classes, and then you go to work, and the work's difficult. It's not like people complain about not being paid enough, but I mean, there are jobs that are more difficult than your job, and that is why they pay more. You've got to be more professional. You really can't be late for work. And if you screw something up, the company loses a lot of money, so you can't screw up. You know, stuff like that. People take that for granted with people who are out there making a difference in the actual economy, you know, actually providing new products. So it is a complex thing. It's a complex thing. I want the best solution. I think everyone wants the best solution. The question is, what is the best solution? And that's a more difficult question to answer than you think it is. To get back to the one guy's point, though, representative democracy, I think, was a good idea. I think that the founding fathers were actually very smart, and that's probably why they founded the wealthiest country in the world. You know, the evidence speaks for itself, I would say. Go ahead and put this. I'm like talking and putting this build together at the same time. We have the health charm. We're going to put the part breaker charm on. Set decorations. We're going to put a Sonorous Jewel here before I forget about it, because I will forget about it. And we're going to put. What are we going to put here? Destroyer. We're going to need one weakness exploit. We're going to need one crit. You got to be careful when talking about the founding fathers, because everyone talks about them like they know what the founding fathers wanted. You know what I mean? Everybody claims to know what the founding fathers meant. So you'll find people who look at the beginning of the country and they'll say, this is what they wanted. And you'll find somebody else and they'll say, no, they wanted the exact opposite of that. You know what I mean? You'll run into that. All right, let's go ahead and post. Kulve Taroth. And we'll have a little meal here. Zaskia says, I'm done drawing her. Best waifu. Light says, free healthcare seems to have such a positive effect in other nations. Do you think that the United States is an exception? So, Light, I've heard that argument. I would say, what do you actually know about free healthcare in other nations? Have you ever participated in it? When I hear about free healthcare in other nations, I hear that the government has to ration out the healthcare. I hear that the government has to be more careful about accepting refugees and accepting immigrants because those immigrants put a drain on that system. I've heard that there are waiting lines, and I've heard that private healthcare has popped up in those countries because people don't want public healthcare. So is a debatable issue. That's the thing. But Bernie Sanders can stand up and say that, oh, the European countries are much better with their healthcare system. And actually, the reason he gets away with saying that is because we have the most expensive healthcare in the country. I've heard that American healthcare is more likely to save you from cancer, which is really what we want. I don't know about you, but that's what I want. I've heard that Americans' healthcare is more advanced. We have more of the inventions, more of the patents over here. But the issue is we have the most expensive healthcare, and you don't want to have the most expensive healthcare. And the question is, how do you drive the cost down? You don't necessarily need to make it so that we have socialized healthcare. You just need the cost of it to go down somehow, and nobody really has an explanation for that. I imagine piranha is good to eat, but they are small. Guys talking about piranhas. So Gameconomist, do successful politicians all have Machiavellian complexes? That's debatable. I know what you're talking about with Machiavellian complexes, and that's probably an oversimplification of what a politician does. I would say most politicians are probably very diplomatic. Most politicians are probably very diplomatic people, because they kind of have to be. But Machiavellian, so when he says Machiavellian, it's a term that's part of the triad of evil. Is that what it's called? I can't remember. It is the triad of something. You have sociopaths, you have psychopaths, and then you have Machiavellians. And Machiavellians they're more strategic, but they suffer from the same problems that the psychopath and the sociopath suffer from, and that is they struggle with being able to get along with others because they're bad at processing emotional feelings. Is she gonna walk under it in time? Yes, she is. So let's get this out. No, I don't think that the majority of politicians are necessarily Machiavellian. Some of them may be, but it's probably more like they're diplomatic and they promise more than they can actually go through with, more than they can actually give. And that's very typical for politicians, and they lie. People who lie aren't necessarily Machiavellian, they're just liars. Very valid points. Thanks for the response, Gameconomist. Oh, you're welcome. Let's go ahead and move this cannon. We all want to live in a sane, wealthy, prosperous world. That's what we all want. Yeah, she's gone. I guess I can fire this anyways. It's not going to hit her. Probably should have just saved it. We all want to live in prosperity and happiness, and sadly that is not the world today. Maybe it could be someday. Handler's like, be sure to use those wedge beetles. It's like, I've played this game for so long, nobody needs to tell me that. Oh, sorry about that, I just blew my teammate away. Oop, there's another one. And we'll do one more. Alright, let's jump back out of here. She is going to come over here and she is going to roar. Wait. What happened? Oh, they broke the wall. Can I get over in time to still land a melee on her? I might be able to land a melee still. Yeah, I got a melee. That's fine. We can talk about anything you guys want, by the way. We don't have to talk about politics. So, Light says, are there any 2020 candidates that interest you right now? Yeah, Donald Trump. You know, in 2016, I actually didn't like Donald Trump, and I thought that he was definitely going to lose. And then he won, and I was really surprised that he won. And I was like, okay, so I guess we'll see what he does. I didn't like him, but I didn't hate him either. I was like, whatever. And take a look at the country. We're not at war. There's no new wars. Uh, the economy seems to be fine. Yeah, all of the hate for Donald Trump is all like on the surface. It's because he's not woke, he's not SJW enough or something. It's all woke stuff. That's it, in my opinion. He's not globalist enough, like he's not multicultural enough. All the stuff that doesn't really matter too much, right? I know it matters to some people a lot, but to me it's not like the most pressing issue for any country. Like, when was the last time you were worried that Mexico didn't have enough white people in it and they weren't multicultural enough? You've never worried about that. I've never worried about that. But we're very worried about that in America, and it's because that's kind of how politics work. People, if Donald Trump says that we have too much illegal immigration, then his opponents are going to say, oh, well, then he's a racist because we need to win the next election because that's how we hold power. And nobody's worried about how many white people are in Mexico. Nobody complains about that. So you know it's kind of an artificial issue. You know it's an issue that's just part of playing the game. It's part of being a politician. You've got to find what your opponent does, and you got to say, I want the opposite of that, so that your voters vote for you. Yep, I would probably vote for Donald Trump just because a lot of the other candidates so far have said things that I don't agree with. Elizabeth Warren says she's going to forgive all student debt. I told you I have $40,000 in student debt. I don't want student debt to become this thing that's socialized. Okay, I don't actually want socialized student debt. I'll pay off my student debt. I want everyone else to pay off their student debts. They were adults when they took out those loans. They knew that the loans would haunt them, right? We all knew it. They tell you over and over again, if you pull out this loan, you're going to have to pay this loan back. Are you sure you want to do that? You know, they're very clear about it. Nobody's going in blind. And everyone agreed, yeah, I'm going to pay this back. And then it turns out your degree in communications isn't worth anything, and you're driving around for Uber. You can't then go say, well, now society should pay for my student loan. So Elizabeth Warren, you know, she's really concerned about being Indian or whatever, and she's really concerned about paying off your student loan for you, even though you agreed to it. Even though you agreed to pull that money out, she's going to take everyone else's money and pay for it. And to me, that's like stealing. Okay, it's very similar to stealing. Then you have Bernie Sanders is all right. I don't hate Bernie Sanders. I just don't really agree with him that we need socialism, which is kind of what he advocates. He doesn't advocate for true socialism. He calls it democratic socialism, which I agree is a bit different. But I think that he asks for too much when the real problem is the cost of healthcare. It's not the system, it's the cost of healthcare. So the question is, how do we take our free markets? In a free market, the cost of healthcare is supposed to come down. That's what a free market is supposed to do. Because competition steps in and says, we're going to sell the same product, but for cheaper. That's what healthcare is supposed to do. And I feel like something's wrong. That would be the best. Something's wrong with that system, right? It's not a true free market system. I bet you would find out that there's a monopoly. I bet that's what you're going to find out. You would find out that the drug companies and the healthcare companies have a bit of a monopoly in the market, and so they're overcharging on the goods. And so what Bernie Sanders says is, we'll negotiate the prices on behalf of the people. But what I would actually rather have is more than one company, so that you don't really have to negotiate with those companies and have socialized healthcare. You just have a lot of companies competing with each other to drive the cost of the healthcare down. So that's what I would prefer. I do think Bernie Sanders is an okay guy. I think that he's a very sincere politician, and that's something I like. And then you have Kamala Harris, who I've never cared about. I don't know what's so great about her. I remember her during the Kavanaugh hearings. She was part of the whole, like Me Too, Her Truth. I really don't like the Her Truth, His Truth kind of bullcrap. There's one truth. I'm not a subjectivist, right? I don't say two things can be true at the same time. I don't believe that. Kavanaugh either raped her or he didn't rape her, and they were all part of this guilty until proven innocent thing because they were highly political motivated. And Kamala Harris and that other lady, Klobuchar, how do you say her name? She's got an odd name. I think it starts with the K, but they really turned me off of them when they participated in the way that they did. You have Cory Booker. I think he's a joke. I don't think he's a serious candidate at all. After his whole, he said Spartacus and all that, it was very childlike of him to say that. Who else do you have? You have, so who haven't we covered? I already told you I don't like Elizabeth Warren's, I'm going to pay for your student loan that you agreed to pay back. Now you're just going to have me pay for it because you're bad at paying back your loans. So I'm not for that. I'm trying to remember what else. I feel like there's somebody. Oh, there's the Pete Buttigieg guy. I haven't actually heard much of him. Maybe Pete Buttigieg is good. I have no clue. You know, somebody who was going to run, I think he's still running, is the CEO of Starbucks, and I listened to him, and his biggest concern is actually America's debt. He says that our debt is going to ruin us, and man, I'd vote for that guy. That guy makes a lot of sense to me. He's more of a centrist, and he's interested in the American debt. He doesn't want to actually just give out free money, right? Like, oh, everything's going to be free. He's saying that America has too much debt, and we need to do something about it. And that is exactly that's exactly how I feel. So, like, if you're concerned about being able to afford healthcare and the government giving out free things, right? Well, did you know America already gives out a ton of its money? It gives out a ton of its money to other countries because we owe them money, because we're heavily in debt to them, because we keep borrowing money from them. And his name, is it Howard something? He's the CEO of Starbucks, and he's saying that's a bigger problem. So if we could get rid of all the interest we're currently paying off to other countries, we would just have more money laying around. But no, we just want to keep borrowing and borrowing and borrowing and keep giving free money out. Vote for me, I'll give you free stuff. Vote for me, I'll give you even more free stuff. Bernie Sanders is saying that felons should be allowed to vote. Felons who have done really bad things, they should be allowed to vote. It's like, of course you're saying that because you know they're going to vote for you, Bernie Sanders. And to me, that's like kind of crooked. It's like cheating at the game, right? It's like we all agree no felons vote, and you want to change the rules because you know the felons are going to vote for you. So stuff like that is really upsetting for me. Hey, see you later, White Black P. Paradin. I'm trying to remember if there's anyone else I'm missing. So, oh yeah, there was the, what was his name? The Beto O'Rourke. Beto O'Rourke, I thought he was kind of a joke. I feel like there's all of these Democrats running, and they have close to no chance of winning, but they're doing it for the attention, and they're doing it maybe to get practice as well, would be another explanation. So, yeah. Pete Buttigieg. Zephyrus says, I think we need to get away from making billionaires president, too much potential for bias. I completely disagree with you on that. It's like you're saying, if you're fantastically wealthy and fantastically successful, you shouldn't be leading the country. It's kind of the other way around. He leads his company because he's a really good leader. He would be probably a better choice for leading the country than the vast majority of human beings in this country. This idea that the more successful you are, the less likely you can be trusted, is typical class welfare where you think that rich people are evil people, even though you probably haven't thought of this. Poor people don't build hospitals, poor people don't build libraries, poor people don't build colleges. It's almost exclusively the wealthy that do all of those philanthropic projects, and they do give charitably away to people. And they give everyone jobs. So this idea that we have to hate wealthy people, you kind of miss out on the reality where when you look out into the world and you see some countries, and they're really struggling. You know, they have you don't live very long in that country, you have a low lifespan, and you bring home like $800 a year. There's a country that actually has that issue. Annual yearly salary on average, it's like $800. And you look at those countries, they don't have billionaires. They don't have billionaires. And you miss the part where the billionaires are like, yes, you don't want them to have too much power in politics. You don't want crony capitalism. You don't want monopolies. But you want these smart leaders in your countries. It's what makes your country a decent place to live. It gives you a job. It gives you stocks to buy, all kinds of stuff like that. They pay a lot of taxes, believe it or not. They do. They create jobs. They create new products. And they pay a lot of taxes. Let's go ahead and take a look at our rewards. I'm not saying I love the rich. I don't love them any more than I love the poor. I'm just saying we should love them equally. So there's a lot of hate toward the rich, and I feel like it's kind of unfair. I feel like it's... Oh, look, we got the Kiara salt water. I feel like it's kind of a form of class warfare. You've been told that you need to hate the rich. They can't be trusted. They're evil. They're out to get you. And it's like, then you find out Bill Gates is giving away 99% of his wealth when he passes away. He chose to do that. He didn't have to do that. He chose to do that because he's a good guy. Well, some people would disagree with that. Some people would say he's like a globalist or something like that. It's all very complex. Let's go ahead and Empty our item loadout. And we'll start a new track farm. How long have we been at this? An hour and 24 minutes? We could probably squeeze 2 more runs in, I think. Why don't I open that video, the counter builds video, so that I can do a counter build after this. Where's my counter build video? I think somebody said they wanted to see Charge Blade. We'll do Charge Blade. Is his name Howard Schultz? I can't remember. The CEO of Starbucks. If you guys didn't know, he's actually he's kind of a liberal. He's always identified with the Liberal Party. He donated generously to the Obama administration during their campaign. Here we are. Okay, so we're at the switch. Oh, that's switch axis actually. Where are the charge blades? Here it is, charge blades. All right, we'll use my charge blade budget build after this. How's it going, Elikno, sir? I don't know how to say your name. I have a drink of my coffee here. Oh, cool. We're going to beat her up. No, we're not. We're going to sniff her feet this round, aren't we? Kind of weird, isn't that? Gameconomist, if you've heard of him, do you think Jordan Peterson gives good self-help or political opinions? Yeah, of course I've heard of Jordan Peterson. I think that he's probably, you could argue, he's one of the thought leaders of our time right now. Jordan Peterson's primary argument is that religion matters because humans facilitate religion to form societies, and societies create hierarchies, and these hierarchies are more productive and create excess products and stuff like that. So Jordan Peterson's, I think he's a smart cookie. I think that he's been okay. Yeah, I don't really have anything against him. Actually, I just watched a debate between him and a guy named Slavoj. They had a big, like 2.5 hour long debate. It wasn't really a debate though. They more like talked with each other. It was a pretty good video actually. Jonathan says, remember when they had the Starbucks hiring convention but no white people were allowed? Is that real? I wouldn't be surprised by that. So this Howard guy, he is a very liberal. I do like what he says, though, about we need to be concerned about the national debt and actually focus on the national debt instead of handing things out to people. Progression says, I'm not well educated in politics and I've started watching him a lot. Yeah, so one of the things Jordan Peterson and many of the conservative, if you want to call them thought leaders, will talk about, who is that, a big golden crab? Is the kind of like the foundation of Western ideology. And Jordan Peterson, his take on it is more from like a biological perspective. Just fun to listen to. I think it's interesting to listen to. He thinks that, politics are just more of an outward expression of things that are true biologically about human beings. So when we say liberal and conservative, I think that he sees it more as, here are these things that are true about humans that come from our biology, and we like to hate each other under our identity politics, but really we're dealing with behaviors that are consistent over since humans have been known to exist. Get the scout fly out. Peterson claims that religious stories have more significance than any other story, and that's just wrong. I don't know if that's quite what he says. I think it's more along the lines of, well, this is kind of a complex subject. I guess I can try to break it down, though. Basically, if you're Christian, you believe that there's sort of like an objective set of rules to the world. You say, God says this, God says that, or if you're like Muslim, it's Allah. If you're Jewish, it's the same God as the Christian God. And that's an objective belief about where our morals come from, what we're supposed to do, what is good, what is evil, right? So he believes religion gives us that. And then somebody like what's his name? I can't remember his name. Who's that famous atheist? Not Sam Harris. There we go. Thought his name was Adam Harris. Sam Harris believes that there is no God and there is no moral objectivity, but we can reach objectivity by taking all of the subjective moral beliefs of humans and concentrating them down to a point where we're all agreeing on the same thing. And he calls that objectivity. And of course, his opponents would say that this is impractical and there's really just too much. I mean, you can have like a contradiction in your moral beliefs and that wouldn't be possible. So everybody's arguing about objective morality or subjective morality, and subjective morality is really kind of a bad idea in my opinion, and this is the opinion of Jordan Peterson as well, because the problem is you're saying that, okay, I can wake up today and decide if it's moral to eat a cookie or not. The Catholic Church would tell me eating the cookie is glutton, right? You're having the sin of glutton. I can say that, well, actually, my truth is that the cookie is not glutton. I'm just enjoying a cookie. Right, and this sounds subjectivity sounds nice, because religions tend to be so rigorous and so rigid. They tend to be so rigid, and they lead to a kind of theocratic authoritarianism that hasn't kept up with our modern age. Right, that's sort of the argument, that we need subjective morality in order to compete with that. And the problem that you run into is you begin to realize, hey, even if there is no God, and all these churches really are just coming up with their supposed objective beliefs from what's actually subjective interpretations of an old script, it turns out that their subjective interpretations of an old script is very consistent. It tells you no murder, tells you don't cheat on your wife, tells you don't be jealous, right? And it turns out those moral, if you want to call them guidelines or rules, have been very good for the civilization of man, right? For creating societies. And he says, if we were to swap over to, let's say, a secularist, a truly secularist, there is no God, everybody can have his truth and her truth. The problem is, on the, if you're talking about like a bell curve, on the crazy ends of the bell curve, you're going to have psychopaths who say, my truth is that I get to kill hookers and dump them in the river, and I've done nothing wrong. So he says that's the problem. When anything can be true, some really bad things can be true. And then he'll use historical references to, anytime you've had atheist states, they typically end up looking kind of like North Korea, where the government becomes God and you worship the leader kind of like God, and there's all this misery and poverty and imprisonment of your political opponents, and all kinds of really bad things come out of it, whereas in religious countries it's not quite as bad. So the realization is this comparison between supposed objective morality coming from religion that nobody questions, versus people believing there is no such thing as moral objectivity and kind of coming up with their own morals. And the question is, which one of these systems will be better for creating a society? Jordan Peterson's argument is that religion will be better facilitated for protecting our species and creating a society rather than subjectivity, because with the subjectivity you get just as much corruption, just as much evil, and arguably more evil out of a moral subjectivist ideology. And I actually agree with him on that. So he and I kind of came to the same conclusion on this issue. Back when I left the Catholic Church a very long time ago, and I was atheist for a while. And then when I left atheism, it was after I was part of some atheist groups, and I realized, oh my God, the atheists are just as bad as the Christians. They'll believe whatever they want to believe, and sometimes they believe some really bad things. They don't really always believe in good things. An atheist can justify anything. That's the thing. An atheist can rationalize anything, and that's kind of the scary realization you have when you're atheist. All right. I think what's enjoyable about Jordan Peterson's ideas often is that he's able to sometimes relate them or back them up with actual biological data on human biology, human psychological evolution, stuff like that. So I think that that's what makes his content enjoyable when you do watch him. Alright, I said we'd do a Charge Blade budget build. Set decorations. And let me grab this real fast. We're going to go Fireproof Mantle. Our weapon is going to be the Taroth Strongarm Horn. Artillery Charm. Emperor's Crown. Wait, Emperor's Crown Beta? Yeah, Emperor's Crown Beta. That's surprising. Damascus Mail. Diablos Nero Vambraces. That's not surprising. Oregon Coil. Wait, is it here? And Dodogama Greaves. Because my build assumes you don't have... Uh-oh. I might not have Dodogama Greaves. Alright, I don't have Dodogama Greaves, so I'll fill it in with something else. How about... We'll just use Synergy of Spurs. Well, I don't know. What else do we have? So I'm supposed to use Dodogama Greaves to help people who don't have certain equipments. But I don't have that on me. Huh. Yeah, I guess I'll use Empress Greaves Beta. Alright, now the skills are Elementless up here. Protection. We'll skip Protection for now. How about Destroyer? These are meant to be Vitality. I only need one Vitality. Destroyer. That's meant to be Protection. This is going to be Destroyer. And another Protection. So we have all these... We have a lot of leftover slots. How does this look so far? Let's go with Tenderizer. Oh, yep, I guess that's all we can afford for Tenderizer. And then let's go for Protection. Oh, Capacity Boost. That's what those legs were for. Let's pick up Capacity Boost. We'll go Fire Resist here. Alright. Perfect. Alright. Let's go ahead and get started. How long have we been doing this? Have we been doing this for 2 hours? I can't keep track. We're at 1 hour and 37 minutes. So I think we have time for 2 more reward cycles. Drake and Josh says, what are your thoughts on completely true and undisputed fact that George Bush was behind the 9/11 attacks? I heard those conspiracy theories. I don't know what to say. I don't actually think that the Bush family did it at all. Yeah, I think that I think it was very likely that they were Muslim terrorists, and I do think that they were probably funded by Saudi Arabia. That's what I was told. That's what I've read. I think that... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. There's all kinds of conspiracies on that. I don't actually buy into... I'm not the kind of person who buys into conspiracies at all. I'm not that kind of person. It's not for me. Grab this, and we're off. I think that it was a mistake going into Afghanistan, toppling the regime of Saddam Hussein. I think we wasted a lot of American lives and a lot of money. Oh, snap. Okay, he got it. What's the best Filipino food? Please don't say adobo chicken. Isn't there a dish called pansit? I believe there's a dish called pansit. Oh no, I'm not going to get this. Oh, yes I am. I'm trying to remember all the things my grandma used to cook. I haven't seen my grandma in a long time. She'd cook adobo chicken, she'd cook pansit, and she'd cook a little sausage that would be wrapped in a. It would be wrapped in a what was it? Kind of like a thin pastry. It'd be like a pork sausage in a thin pastry, and she'd fry it, and we'd eat it with a dressing. Economist? Oh shit. So JCon, I do enjoy politics a lot, and my name is TheGameconomist because I actually enjoyed stuff like economics, world news, business, maybe religion, maybe some philosophy, like a whole mix of things. I do enjoy talking about all that. Alpha Equinox says we spent millions searching 27 countries. Where did we find them? We found them in Pakistan's backyard, and we give money to Pakistan, by the way. How does that make you feel? Sound good? Sounds like trash. But we gotta have friends in the Middle East. Yeah, it sucks. We can't blame them because we don't know if they were really harboring him. There's no way to know. Gameconomist, are you part Filipino? My grandmother is Filipino, so the answer is yes. I have a Filipino grandmother on my dad's side. My dad then would be English and Filipino. My mom's side is German and Irish. So now you know all about my ethnic genes. I don't look Filipino. I have some siblings who look extremely Filipino. I have one brother. He looks like he could have been straight out of the Philippines. It's kind of funny because I also have a sister who's like curly blonde hair and blue eyes. So it's kind of funny. It's real mix. I couldn't pass as Filipino though. I look like a German guy. Oh. And I'll just jump up here now. So that's why he sounds so white. I sound incredibly white. Ready to move to Britain. God-conomism will be my side religion. We'll start the Church of Shigurkin. First rule is if anyone is not part of Church of Shigurkin, you must wipe them out or something terrible. Then people will realize how great we are. Alright, let's go ahead and jump down here. We're going to get the jump attack on him. Second rule of Church of Shigurkin, women in Mortal Kombat have to be scantily clad. Vincent says, watching you here from the Philippines. Nice. I've never been to the Philippines. I've thought about going there. My older sister, she had like a traditional Filipino wedding with like a rope or something like that. I don't actually know how traditional it is because I don't know much about traditional Filipino weddings. She just told me it was traditional Filipino wedding. That's my oldest sister, and I think she's got like 3 or 4 kids by now already. I'm not like that. I don't have any kids. But yeah, I would like to see the Philippines someday. Oh. Philippine Islands. Oh god, she's gonna move, isn't she? She's gonna move right now? Yeah, of course she's gonna move. Someone needs a spanking. What? Can't talk that way. You gotta offend somebody. You're gonna hurt my religious feelings. We don't say that in my religion. It's very, very inappropriate. Nice. Love the damage on the charge blade against Arch-Tempered Kulve Taroth. It's because the Sade has so much range, and she has a huge body, so naturally it's going to land. Is she digging again? No, she's not digging. I'm surprised it didn't break. What is the rarest jewel in Monster Hunter World? There's a few really rare jewels. The attack boost decoration is one of them. I can't remember the others that have a really low drop rate. Definitely feeling a lot more comfortable with the charge blade. I feel like I need to get good at those AEDs. Oh. Ugh. And she's digging. I'm gonna get smacked. Gameconomist, for a quick burst of damage, do an R2 to a O back to a R2. Not sure what it is for Xbox wall. I was gonna say I have no idea what you're talking about. Nice. Oh yeah, piercing takes forever. Piercing pod? Not piercing pod, piercing decoration. I got that one really late. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Let's go ahead and eat this mega potion. Oh, Kulve. You know you want to get under these. Ah, come on, guys. Come on, you do so much damage if you get her underneath these boulders. Guess I can sharpen while I'm waiting. Gameconomist, you like the Diablo's Charge Blade over the Kiara Thunder Charge Blade? If yes, why? So no, the Kiara Thunder Charge Blade is actually superior for fighting Arch-Tempered Kulve Taroth. However, I don't own it. Does that make sense? When I have it, I'll probably build for it. Alright, there we go. Oops, they didn't need to drop both of them. Are her horns chipped? Yeah, her horns are chipped. What's not broken? Oh, my cat's meowing. Oh, come on, guys. We're just not doing enough. She hasn't shed because we're not tearing her mantle off fast enough. There she goes. Oops. Where on Gameconomist Discord do most people go to post session IDs and join lobbies for Arch-Tempered Kulve Taroth runs? There's a category called LFG, and you'll go over there. There'll be a channel called Session ID and a Session ID chat, and you can go there if you want, or you can just go to your respective channel for whichever platform you're playing on. Oh, I should be paying attention, not talking. Oh. Oh my god. Just wanted to get behind her. Uh-oh, that's not good. Let's go ahead and get these mega barrel bombs on the tail. I'm actually a little concerned about the tail. Oh, dude, you put this guy to sleep way too early. Is it just me and you? Oh, there's 3 of us. Okay, never mind. The other guy. Oh, you didn't. It's my bad. Alright, I did wake. The tail is broken now. Hi, kitty. I did not expect that KO to come in. Now we're racing to get over to the helmet, or the head, I mean. There, check it out. I did an AED on her head. Are you proud of me? That was intentional. I know you're proud of me. You don't have to tell me. It's another AED. Oh, nope, I don't think so. Oh, they're broken. Nice job, everyone. We're at 1 hour and 52 minutes. I think I might actually stop here. Normally I go over 2 hours, but I feel like I'm ready to get back to work on my videos. So I think we'll go ahead and wrap things up after we take a look at the rewards. Modestra says, now that you've said it was intentional, we are proud of you. Yeah, I'm trying to get better at that. Yeah, see? I feel like I've I feel like I've made really good progress on the charge blade. I understand it much better. In my opinion, it was the weapon that took me the longest to understand. Gameconomist, this time can you show the rewards, unlike the last stream where you cut off early? Yeah, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that last time. We'll take a look at them. About the Filipino food, you might be talking about longanisa. Okay. I just remember my grandma would make a rice noodle dish, and she called it pancit. And then she would also make a fried pork sausage dish, where the pork sausage was, it was fried in a thin pastry, and we ate it with a red salad dressing. I think it was Cantella salad dressing? I can't remember the name of it. And she called that, I don't remember the name. I just remember it tasted good. Gameconomist, have you thought about playing Apex Legends on PlayStation 4? I definitely have not, because I do not even own a PlayStation 4. Celeste says, I learn a lot, only by watching. That's good. I'm glad that you guys are learning things about the game. I learn things too, because this is good practice. Oh, David Larson just joined. David, you're going to get to see the rewards, but then I'm hopping off. One more? Okay, David Larson gave me a donation. There's no way I couldn't do one more after that. All right. Thank you, David. We just did Charge Blade, and we will go ahead and get our Forger run. You missed my epic political rants there, David Larson. We were talking about politics. We were talking about religion. We were talking about those two things. I think we did some talking about the economy. But it has since died down. Let's go ahead and take a look at these rewards. All right. We sell them all. It's so good to see you again. Take a gander. Panza is good food. So panza actually is a dish. Is it an actual dish? I just... Thank you, David. I just vaguely remember her calling it panza. What she would do is she would make chicken adobo, and then she would shred all the chicken off of the chicken adobo. She'd make a rice noodle with a lot of like fish sauce in it, and it would have cabbage and carrots. And she would steam those noodles along with the adobo chicken, and it was so good you couldn't not eat it. And then you'd like cover it in lime juice or something like that. It was really yummy. How's it going, Mohammed? Thank you for joining the stream. Tiny Tenor says, make it rain, pimp that GE ho. David Larson says, no worries, I'm glad I missed them. Maker Smith says, yesterday I got an elementless jewel. Modestro says, the main first world problem is that I don't really like using only one weapon, but I can't be very good at one if I consistently switch. Well, I don't think that's true, Modestro. If you give all the weapons a chance, you get better at all of them. It depends on how long do you want to play, really. Yeah, you could be good at all the weapons. I'm sure you could. Another challenge with Charge Blade, once you're good at guard point, you can try Sheath Guard Point, a real challenge. Don't know what you mean by that. Oh wait, I'm supposed to grab stuff, aren't I? I was getting ready to attack her. Dragon Strike Nut. Honey. Depending on where you're from. Bitterbug. Ooh, you know, I've never actually eaten a bug before. I wonder what they taste like. Devil's Blight. Yes, it's a dish and chicken adobo. Wow, you're lucky. You taste one of the best Filipino cuisines. She made us a lot of things. She would make like all kinds of weird fish dishes. She loved fish, and she was always cooking. And I haven't seen her in like 12 years, probably. Yeah, actually, I wish I could see her again. Can you still do the Elder Melder trick? Are you talking about save scumming? Because you definitely can save scum. I thought about making a guide for save scumming the Elder Melder on PC, but I figured, well, there's all these mods out. I don't know. Modestro says, Law, you say it because you have 2,000 more hours than me in the game. My goal when I grow up is to be proficient with all the weapons. Sure, yeah. Actually, I'm kind of enjoying the hard work it took to kind of learn all of them already. And I'm hoping that as new games come out, I'm able to learn all these weapons much faster the second time, because I already have a pretty basic understanding of them this time. So if Iceborne comes out and they all have new movesets, I think I'll be able to figure those new movesets out quickly. Elik Noser, he says, which Kiar weapon are you looking for? Well, honestly, I have all the Kiar weapons except for 2 on the console, and I have them unlocked here on the PC. So at this point, I'm just playing for fun. Yeah, at this point, I have them all unlocked. I guess you guys could enjoy watching to see how many of them I actually unlock live, right? David Larson says, I've eaten bugs. Taste like barbecue. Tasty, nutritious, good for you. Okay, I believe you. Actually, I like funky tasting food, so honestly, I'd probably enjoy it. Disgusting? Is that what you just did there, Sule Swirl? Disgusting? Can't stand bugs, you don't want to eat a cockroach? That's racist. Do you think they'll have new moveset? Oh, my controller stopped working. What the heck? Oh, there it goes. Do you think they'll have new movesets for weapons? I have only played Monster Hunter World. I think there's a fair chance that they include a new moveset for the weapons, yeah. You need to master the capture net. Capture net style. Grab the scattered gold chip. Here's another scattered gold chip. Any other... So hard to tell when you're aggroed. Game plan. We get to Pursuit 6. We take our horns using the capture net only. I don't know about that. Sounds impossible. That's impossible. Grab this large barrel, grab this fire herb, and we'll go ahead and get this scout fly power up buff out. I like that you enjoy reading the fans' comments, not like other YouTubers. Do you other YouTubers really not read the comments? That's like half the fun. Yeah, I guess it's because I'm a big talker. I do a lot of talking in real life. You can't stop me from talking. Actually, they used to say that about me when I was younger. You couldn't stop me from talking about things. Even when I'm alone, I just talk with myself a lot. David Larson, you'd like it? I swear. Some bugs are meant to be eaten, stuff's delicious, but what do I know? I'm just a weird millionaire sugar daddy from Norway. Norway. I want to visit Norway. I'd love to go visiting a lot of the countries, actually. I've never been to Europe. We want to go to, my wife and I want to go to Japan. I'm so used to calling her fiance. I want to see all the countries. I wonder if we could afford to do that someday. This is my therapy. Nazi says, since I don't have the claw lance, what's the next best thing? So I think you're referring to the Taroth claw. And the next best thing would be, it depends. It's either going to be the Otogaron lance or it's going to be the Devil Joe lance. And it depends on if you want to play without vitality. So if you play without vitality and you don't need part breaker, I would argue that the Devil Joe lance is your next best option. If you do need part breaker and you do want vitality, probably going to be the Otogaron lance, because you're going to be able to maintain Master's touch better. Oh, looks like I missed one over here too. Congratulations on your marriage. Better late than never. Yep, that's right. J. Cone says, your voice is like Morgan Freeman. I don't think about that. I don't think it sounds that good. Morgan Freeman's got me beat. Funky says, Kiara Lances. Oh, true, right. But I presume if he's saying that he doesn't have the Taroth Claw Lance, he also doesn't have the Taroth Kiara Lances, right? That would make sense that he doesn't have that. I suppose it's possible you could have the Kiara Lances and not the Taroth Claw Lance. Hey, Gameconomist, I'm back. Welcome back, chicken tenders. Scepter says, I still haven't tried Insect Glaive. You should try Insect Glaive on, like, Arch-Tempered Zenajiva and just do nothing but aerial attacks. It's a really fun way to be introduced to that weapon, because it's kind of what that weapon does that's unique from the other weapons. Speaking of which, Scepter, I'm actually working on a top 5 Insect Glaives video, so when that comes out, you can give a look at that, and maybe it'll inspire you to try them. It'll include builds in the video as usual, and I'll talk about... One of the things I talk about when I make my top 5 videos is how do you kind of like, how should you use the weapon? So I'll talk about that as well. They should have made Valhazak really weak to blast. All the gas running over its chest should easily ignite. Well, I mean, if it was a flammable chemical, then yes. But if it's not a flammable, like mold, for example, if you've got airborne mold, that's not necessarily flammable. Gameconomist, I was on your session for the first time today, and it was a lot of fun. Thank you for making this a thing and all your kind fans who put up with me. Oh, no problem. Hopefully, we do get some people who are kind of newer to the game in this session, because I think as long as we have a few of them, you're probably going to have a really good experience rather than what you probably would have had with randoms. Oh, my controller's dead again. What the heck? Oh, there it goes. That's not good. Shouldn't be doing that. Alright, we did the Charge Blade. Trying to think of what we should do now. We did the Charge Blade. I kind of want to do the budget heavy, budget hunting horn build again. Give me a second. Oh, what else do I have actually? Maybe I'll do switch axe again. We already did Hunting Horn today. Okay, so I do have the Kiar Thunder. Part Breaker, this will be... This turns into Kaiser Crown, oops. Guessing this is Dragon Mail then, Kaiser Vambrace Alpha. It's kind of a pattern to this, as you can see. So we're Spine, and Kaiser Greaves Gamma. There we go. Set decorations, let's go with the Magazine Jewel. And Tenderizer. Oh, this is supposed to be Damascus? That can't be right. Oh, that's Charge Blade. That's Charge Blade. We're not looking for Charge Blade. We're looking for Switch Axe. Here we go. Much better. That's what happens when you're just following a list of instructions. You got to be careful that you're looking at the right instructions. Really? Vitality rather than Bolt? I would have taken Bolt. Oh, I used the Bolt Charm. Interesting. Oh, here it is. Shock Charm. This is Vitality. This is Destroyer. Destroyer. And I'm guessing another Destroyer. Yes. Vitality. Alright, and then we're gonna save this. We'll save it here. And then we need a... We don't have the Kiar Ice, or Stream if you want to call it that, so we need a different one. I don't have that either, so let's go with the budget. So for the budget, we want Handicraft. I'll be done in no time. Nergigante Helmet. Uragan Mail. Kaiser Vambrace's Alpha stays on. Uragan Coil, although I could probably just keep this on, to be honest. I'm just going to follow the instructions, though. And Empress Greaves. Beta? Yeah. And this is actually... Oops. This is supposed to be Terra Tyrannus. So I've got the wrong one. Here it is. Set decorations. Decorations are going to be Vitality. Vitality. Oh, actually, Expert. Tenderizer. You know, for stage 4, I don't actually need the Uragan chat. Oh, man, I'm just going to go with it. I'm just going to go with it. Just going to follow whatever this is. I'm not going to try and come up with the build on the fly. So this is the budget build, and it includes Part Breaker, but don't actually want Part Breaker. So we'll use these two. Oh, and we should update our items. Here we go. Pursuit level 4. Easy. Alright. Let's see what everyone's saying. Hey, how's it going, guys? Gameconomist, why are some names green and some orange? Is that like a level thing? Hey, that's a great question, actually. I have no idea. Maybe somebody else can answer that question. Show skills when done, please. Okay, I'll show the skills for sure. Actually, if you want Makersmith, I can share the video that I'm pulling my build from. So, oops. Let's do this. At Makersmith. There you go. Hey Gameconomist, how long do you think it will take to beat Arch-Tempered Kulve Taroth with your new method solo from Pursuit 1 to Pursuit 6? Well, it's not necessarily my method. I learned it. I heard people said that Asian players had developed this method. I'm just teaching people about it. And if you're playing completely by yourself, I would bet one run would take you around 45 minutes if you're doing really well, if I had to guess. And it's primarily because it's taking you too long to raise the pursuit level. So you might be able to defeat her solo from Pursuit 3. It's going to be a real challenge, though, especially in Stage 4. And that's it. So you can try. Oh, man, I shouldn't have moved the cannon. That was such a waste. Such a waste. See you later, chilling music student. students. I've been using the cannons for so long and I still make mistakes. You get the orange name when you do the level 100 quest. Oh, okay. Come on, guys, drop it, drop it, drop it. Oh, too early. Oh, no, it wasn't. It wasn't too early. Whew, close to being too early, though. I could jump down there. I was wondering if it would latch on. I guess it doesn't. Is she just gonna walk through? Oh, she is. Oh, what's this? Did the rocks not interrupt her? The rocks fell on her. Oh, that's so sad. Okay, well, we'll meet her over here. See you later, Walamanga. See you next time. Doing terrific damage, by the way. Can we attack the back of the tail? Will this count? Oh, what is it doing? I can't tell if this counts as the back of the tail. Oh, I gotta stop doing that. I'm reloading when I don't mean to. Nice, somebody got those boulders on her. Nice job, guys. Gameconomist. Okay, thanks. I'll let you know how it goes when she comes out on PlayStation 4. Maybe we should stream something other than Arch-Tempered Kulve Taroth tomorrow. We've done her a lot this week. Wonder what else we could stream. Could be Zora Magdaros on the Xbox, but that is boring. Not too interested in that. We could start Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, but I feel like we should save that for after Arch-Tempered Nergigante comes out. Brrr. Oops, that's too bad. I want to hit the back of her tail. Oh, the back of her tail's broken. Doing just crazy damage with the switch axe when it's landing. Not me, not today. Look at this. Am I alive? Oh, wow, I didn't know you could do that. That's so cool. Did you guys see that? I could just stay on her chest there. Wow, doing terrific damage. Really impressive. Look at this. Damn, that's ridiculous. That's a lot of damage. Still swift. Oh, she got me. I tried to dodge it. I saw it incoming. Uh-oh, 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 uh-oh. I'm okay. I'm okay. So horns chipped? I can't actually tell. Damn, that's cool. I'm dead. Well, no KO, so I'm still alive. Damn, she's digging again. Bro, why did you latch onto that? Just for fun? Why not? It's Kulve Taroth Pursuit Force. Not like this is some big challenge. I like to experiment with the latch. The latch is like the most interesting part of this weapon. Other than that, it's just like a weapon that swings in place a lot. God, man. Ooh. We can't seem to break her. We can't seem to break her mantle before she digs. It's kind of sad. It's usually a sign you're not doing enough damage. Gameconomist, found your visit. Florian says, found your visit a couple days ago. I've never encountered Kulve Taroth or an arch-tempered monster, so I was kind of scared, but your vids were very helpful, so thank you for helping me. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, thanks for letting me know that I helped. Oh, Kulve. Come on forward, Kulve. Is she gonna walk around it? No, she's walking right into it. Alright, that broke off right away. Get out of the way, Gajulaka. Oh, can I keep hitting her tail? Oh, I tried to roll it. So we have to use a Farcaster because we are using a thunder weapon. You know, honestly, you don't really have to change out weapons, but it does help do more damage. Because she really does not take much thunder damage. But you do raw damage as well. You're not only doing thunder damage, you're doing raw as well with this weapon. So here's Terror Tyrannus, and it's going to do more damage than that other weapon I had. Unfortunately, the build includes Part Breaker because this is the budget build, and the budget build is meant to be used in all 4 stages. But you could probably get a more damage optimized build if you wanted it. Here are these bats. Chill Shroom. Jump over here. Chill Shroom. I suppose I could eat a Chill Shroom. Nah, I'm not going to eat a Chill Shroom. That's too chill for me. We'll put on the Fireproof Mantle. It'll be the same thing. Please do a Charge Blade run. I did do one earlier, so what you can do is after the stream is over, you can go watch the live stream in my YouTube channel. The live streams are always published, and you can see that fight, what that looked like. I actually did a pretty good job, I thought. Oh, I tried to time the dodge correctly. Oh, I can't believe she hit me with that too. Alright, I gotta be careful now or she's gonna kill me. Let's get these mega barrel bombs on her tail. That should definitely kill her. I didn't need to do that either. Tail Birkin. I don't know what the best wake-up attack from the switch axe is. Oh, that still hit me, huh? Good thing I had that fireproof mantle on. Whoa! Oh shoot, I hate this move. Always head toward open ground. Don't ever put yourself by a wall, because you'll find out that you don't have enough room against that wall. There she goes again. It's the baby blanket. Wow, I can't hit her. I'm having a little trouble understanding exactly what I'm supposed to do. I feel like if I was doing this solo, it would actually be kind of hard to hit her horns. Yeah, this would definitely be hard to hit her horns. Now oh, that's her leg. I thought I hit her. I thought I hit her face. There we go. That's acceptable, right? Check that out. Nice. Oh, look at that. I knocked her over too. How cool is that? That was cool. Wow, I latched onto her head and got to deal all that damage. X-Hack says yay. What is your least favorite weapon, asks Drake. It could be the sword and shield. I just wish the sword and shield had a bit more going for it in terms of moveset. It already, I feel, has a disadvantage vertically in a lot of fights, but I could be wrong about that. I feel like the sword and shield being able to use wide range really well isn't as big of an advantage as you think it is. Oh, no problem, Voz. Thank you for playing with me. I do love getting YouTube ads on YouTube. Said no one. Try to make a stream where you do challenge suggested by the stream comments. Okay, I'll have to think about that. It was a great finisher. That was cool. Go full Uragan. Since you're playing Switch Axe, you should be mounting her. Oh, I see what you're saying. I did try to get a few mount damages off on her, but I mean, she died before I could mount her. Don't go Uragan, become the Uragan, says David Larson. Silent Shawafi says, let's see those rewards. That's right, we'll look at the rewards and then I'll take a break. Really, I do need a break though. I need to stand up and walk around. It's not healthy to sit for so long. And I don't want to die of non-walking cancer. So, Kulve Taroth Siege. See what we get. Look at all those rainbow rewards. I'm basically drowning in rainbow rewards. Jarax King. There you go. I got a new Switch Axe. And that's it. Sell the rest. Alright. Well, thank you very much, guys. Let me do a little gesture for you. Here, I'll do a little wave. With this thing in the way. Oh, what did I just do? There we go. All right, thanks for watching, guys. I'm gonna go work on my top 5 insect glaive build video. Basically, all I have to do, well, I have to do the longest part of it is the editing, and that's what I have left now. So I have to go do the editing, and that'll be fun. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. And thank you very much, David Larson, for those donations. I do appreciate it. They always put an extra hot dog on my table.